Hello. I finally received my order from Hobonichi. I received it like a few days ago, I think, and I already opened everything and I didn't want to film like a big haul or I did film one, but I don't know, I just didn't like it and I'm not really feeling filming a big haul this year. I don't know why. But I did want to show like some of the things or at least talk about what I got, and I wanted to do a paper test. So this is one of the covers that I got. I bought the Moomin A6 and it is so pretty. I won't unwrap it yet because I don't plan on using it until next year. I usually try to save the stuff that I buy for like the next year for the specifically during the Hobonichi launch, because they do launch, months in advance for the following year. So I plan to save this until next year, in January probably. But I bought the Moomin cover and I'm so happy I got this. It was one of the first reveals that Hobonichi showed in the previews and it is so pretty. I'm really happy I got this cover. I was debating on getting it because it was a Japan exclusive. So I didn't know if I wanted to like take that risk buying from Hobonichi directly, but I did end up doing that and I'm very happy that I did. I did have to buy the bundle, as many Americans did. So I got, of course, the A6. I got an English one because they didn't allow you to get the Japanese one in the bundle. The only Japanese book you could get in the bundle were the Avec books, and I don't use the Avecs. I just use the whole book in itself, so I just got the English one. I did also buy the Yumi Kitagishi cover, but I don't know, it's not next to me right now. I actually don't know where I put it. It's obviously somewhere in my room, but I'll probably show that later. I actually bought that from Nico Neko, and I did film an unboxing of that, so I don't know if I might include like some clips of me unboxing my order from Nico Neko because I only bought like a few things. But I did place an order with Hobonichi as well for Moomin and also Junji Ito. I did not buy any of the Junji Ito covers. I held back because it is made with that PU leather. So it's that fake leather, the plasticky one, and I just didn't want to get a cover made out of that material. So I didn't get any of the Junji Ito covers, even though I really love them, but I did purchase the pencil boards, which I guess I'll show one. I purchased all three of them, but this one is the A5 one. It's very pretty. I really like it. I haven't unboxed it or like unpackaged it yet, but I'll probably do that later. And I also bought the Weeks, the Junji Ito Weeks. She is gorgeous. I won't open her until December, and I also bought the stamps. So I didn't plan on doing like a big haul for next year for 2026, but I did buy a few things, and I'm still debating on a few other things, but yeah, that's everything that I purchased on the initial launch day. Now, for the main part of the video, I was very curious about the paper this year. Regardless of bleed through from the 2025 book, I, would use whatever anyway. Like, I tried to be somewhat selective with what I used, but in the end, I ended up using whatever I wanted to in my current 2025 notebook. And I know a lot of people experience bleed through and feathering and a whole bunch of issues, so there was a lot of anticipation with the paper this year because of all that feedback they received or there was a lot of anticipation for the 2026 books, not this year. This year is still 2025, but they received a lot of feedback from that. And even during the Jet Pens event, I spoke with one of the Hobonichi representatives that were there, and they even said that they worked hard on the paper because of all that feedback that they had received. And I was very eager to test mine as well, so I did. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna try to. Let's see. Let me click this because it'll annoy me. Hopefully this looks okay. I always film on my phone, so I'm just like zooming in, but I tested a few different things in this planner. This is just the regular A6. Obviously, I don't know yet how it's gonna work between books, between the A5, the A6, the weeks, the 5 year. I remember last year, or I mean, well, no, I guess last year because it all happened in 2024, like around the end, um, when people were testing their pens in that book. And in the 5 years, they had a lot of issues, and Hobonichi issued refunds and, or not refunds, but exchanges. Like they gave them a new book to certain people if they were to fill out a form. But I think it was only for the 5 years. It wasn't for any of the other books, unfortunately. So I really wanted to test out the paper in this one. I have a lot of inks that I've purchased and different pens, and I just really wanted to see how things were going to work out, and especially with stamps too. So I did a few. Uniball 1. Let me see, actually. I just wanted to make sure I'm in frame. Uniball 1 is my ride or die. It is amazing to me. Like, I know a lot of people have problems with I think skipping, but I don't really have a problem with my Uniball. It's always worked fine for me, and I've bought refills for this too, and it still worked fine. I have a bunch of like different versions of this pen. I have, let me show you. I have also the P. This one's empty right now because I have it in a different colorway, but it's like it's the exact same ink. It's just a different body. But yeah, that one works great too. And no matter what refill I get, it still works out in the end. So I've never had a problem with Uniball P, and I didn't expect, or the Uniball 1, and I didn't expect any problems for this year, and thankfully there were none. I also tried a Uniball Signo. This one I do have problems with pretty in anything. It does not dry fast, and I've found that even in my weeks for this year, if I wait even a day, it still won't be dry. It'll still smudge, and I bet you maybe it didn't smudge this time, but in my weeks for this year, it did smudge. So, but I really like this one too. I think it's actually, even though these are still both 0.38, I feel like this one is still thinner. I don't know why. Maybe because of the type of nib it is or whatever. But I do like this one as well. So I'm thankful that at least it looks okay. But I probably will still only use my Uniball 1. Just more often, just because I know for sure that it'll dry on anything and it won't smudge. I also tested my Pilot Kakuno Extra Fine, and it looks, oops, sorry, the ink is still wet on one of these. I tried my my Pilot Kakuno Extra Fine with D Atramentis Document Black ink, and it looks great. It looks really thin. I don't really use my extra fine in this book because obviously it is so thin, and my writing is already pretty small, and I'm already like kind of struggling to read this. So I try not to use it in this book. I rather use something a little more broader, like my Koeko Sport. This is the fine nib, and it has Nagasawa Kobe Hime Ajisai ink in it, and it's really pretty, but it is pretty broad here. But I find that Koeko Sport nibs are always like that. They're kind of inconsistent with how they write, I feel like. Even in an extra fine nib, it's not super thin. Sometimes it like almost writes like a fine on some of the pens that I have, but honestly, they're a pretty good price point. so I don't really mind. I don't expect a lot from them. Like if it was like a gold nib pen, then I'd be more I guess I would expect more from it. I would expect it to write the way that I want it to write and not be like inconsistent if I'm paying that much of a premium for a pen like that. But because this is a Coeco Sport and it doesn't really bother me if it's a little more broader with their with their Western type nibs, I really don't mind that it's like kind of broad even for like a fine, because you can see like the big difference here. Because if I were to put like an extra fine next to it, I feel like it would still write similarly to a fine, and it would still be broader than the Pilot Kakuna extra fine. But that is because it's a Japanese nib compared to this Western one. And then I also tried the Sailor Hokoro dip pens with the other inks. So this is a fine nib. I don't think they have an extra fine, or at least not where I bought it from. I think I bought it from Yoseka. So they had, the fine is the smallest size you can get, but I don't mind. So I tried out my Herbin. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm pretty sure it's like a French brand. Rouge Grenat. So yeah, this is new to me. I just got this recently. They're very nice colors. I actually swatched them. Let me see if I have the paper where I swatched it. So I was swatching a bunch of different inks that I have with this glass nib that I have from Fonte Plumo. You can buy just the pen itself, and they have like a bunch of different ones. They have one that is a fountain pen nib or a glass pen nib like this one. I think they also have one that's like a marker, although I don't really remember. And then you can buy a cap separately, and they have a bunch of colors of it. With this, when I first got it, I thought I had to twist it on because it has these ridges here, or at least I thought they did. And I thought, oh, I couldn't get it to like close. I kept on slipping off, and then I realized you really have to click it closed to get it to close fully. So if anyone out there was also confused like me, because I did see a review saying like they couldn't get their pen to close, it might be because they're not pressing hard enough. So yeah, that's with the Fonte Plumo pens. But I would test it out this pen on here with the different inks that I have, but this is the new, these inks. I grabbed 4 of them. So this is the Rouge Grenat. This is the Rouge Emerald. I don't think they have like an English translation to it. Maybe online they do. But yeah, this is this one. I also got this orange one. And I got a gray. Very pretty. And I tried it on here. And I also tried my Sailor dipped in inks, which are, they're sheen inks that I both tried. I wanted to see how the sheen would look on this paper. And so this top one is Blue Flame, and I also used the 2mm nib from the Sailor Hokoros. I'm still not used to writing with it, so it looks really janky. And I think that's what was wet, because now I have ink all over my finger. And I think it's still, yeah, it's really sticky. It's still hella wet. So, I tried that because I wanted to see how the sheen would look. And then I also tried Ripe Fig, which is also from the Sailor Dipped In line, and there's also a sheening ink. And so you can see it goes from blue to like a green sheen. I mean a purple to a green sheen. I don't know if you can see it. The lighting might not be good. But I did a bigger swatch with that, with this glass ink muddler that I bought at the SF Pen Show. And I also wanted to see how it would take a heavy swatch on the paper. And then I will obviously flip the page to show you the back as well. But I just wanted to show you right now what it looked like on here because I know people experience feathering when they were writing in their 2025 books. And so far, I'm not seeing any feathering. I do, like, I write really thin and I'm using really thin pens, so I feel like the feathering would be really obvious for if I'm writing with something this thin, but I don't see anything, like any issues with this at all. It looks great to me. I also tried a mild liner, but instead of highlighting something that I already wrote with, I did the swatch and then I wrote on top of it mild liner. I don't really use this as a highlighter. I use it more as like a page separator or like whatever. So I just wrote it like that. I also had trouble with the Zig clean color dots in my 2025 weeks, and I actually used that as a categorize what I'm like watching because I use my weeks as a media log. So I categorize it with like books and movies and TV shows and music and stuff like that. So I had a little bit of bleed through with those, and I tried to use a dark color and a lighter color just to see the difference. I also have the Sarasa Nanos, well, just one nano and a 0.3 nib, and also Sarasa Clip and a 0.5. And then, this is new to me that I want to practice with. I bought a Pilot parallel pen. And so these have, oh, sorry, I thought it was click open, but it's actually twist. They have this type of nib on it, which is, it's really cool. It's actually like, in the little pamphlet it gives you, it's a little, you can use it for drawing, but I think a lot of people use it for calligraphy. So they give you like examples of what people use it for, and it looks really cool. I really want to work on my calligraphy. They give you like instructions on how to do it, but it's just gonna take practice. I really want to do Gothic style because that's always been my interest since I was like in high school, middle school. So it's really cool to get this and try it out. This one is the 4.5 millimeter, yeah, millimeter size nib, and it just has the Pilot parallel ink in it. I think you could put different ink in it though, even though it says on the instructions to only use it with the ink that this is like made with or whatever. I've seen videos online of people using different type of inks. I'm assuming you can use regular fountain pen ink, but if you were to use like a pigment ink with like big pigment particles in it, it'll probably cause a clog and that might give you issues. But if you were to use something thin that was more dye based, then that would probably work best. But for right now, I'm just using the regular Pilot parallel ink. What's cool about these two is that you can mix the colors. So I've seen that they have like if you can like dip the pen in like a different ink and then you can have like variations when you're writing. It looks really cool. I really recommend, like, if you're interested in this, it wasn't too expensive either. To look up videos online and see how people are mixing the inks because it looks really cool. But yeah, I just wanted to see how this one would look. It is a very broad nib, so I don't know how it's gonna fit on the page, obviously, because this is like it's such a small amount of room, but it's fine. And then I also did, I just wanna make sure this is still in frame. I did swatches of different inks that I have for ink pads. So I used my Yumi Kirigishi stamp. This is a little mole, so cute. I thought it'd be best to use it because he has so much like color that it would be filled out with. So this is the Staz On ink pad. I'll try to show it. It's this one. It's also made by the same company that does basically all these three ink pads, or I mean ink swatches that I did. It's Suki Neko, which is also the company that does this. Right? I think so. I don't remember. But anyway, sorry, I was just looking at to see the label if it said that, because I could have sworn I saw somewhere that it was the same company, but I might be wrong. But anyway, I tried this one, which I have gotten bleed through in this year, in the 2025 book. This is also the VersaFine ink pad, which is this one, the VersaFine Claire, which is the same company as the Stazon. And then I also tried this one, the Versa Magic, which is the chalk one. And then I tried another stamp that is the Stamp It color from A Kind of Cafe. This one is Hojicha Latte. And I wanted to see how it would bleed through. So now I'll show you the back. So this is what the back looks like. As you can see, I have like no bleed through on anything up here pen wise. Like not even on the Pilot Parallel, not even on that big swatch of the Sailor dipped in. Everything looks great. There might be maybe like the tiniest amount of bleed through on the markers, but even then it looks fine. It looks great. What I did get bleed through on were the stamps. So this one I expected it to have bleed through, the Stazon. I think it's oil based. I'm not sure. But unfortunately, there is bleed through to it. Pretty heavy bleed through, I think. Yeah, I actually put a page in between because I didn't know how much it was going to bleed through. I really did expect the stamps to bleed through because they usually do. So this one bled through. This one also bled like a little bit, kind of, maybe like it barely anything, mainly here on the bottom, maybe because I was pressing more. But yeah, there's just like a little more bleed through. It's very dark either way. Like this paper is thin, so either way it's gonna see through visibly. So if you're not okay with that, maybe if you want to stamp something, put it on another piece of paper and then glue that paper or like tape it in, because it will show through pretty heavy like this. And if you write on top of it, you're just gonna be illegible. It won't be able to read it at all. This is the chalk one. It looks great. It always looks great. And then this is the kind of cafe. No bleed through. It's a light color anyway, though. It's not very dark. I don't have a dark color. I mean, I do have these two. I have this one that's egg yolk and this one that's like a neon orange. Yeah, neon orange. So I don't know if those will bleed through, but for the most part, these are all fine. I mean, these two are fine at least. But anything darker might cause issues. But yeah, for the most part, all of the markers and pens, they look pretty good. Even the big swatch. And I was really nervous about the swatch because I thought it would like bleed a lot. But it honestly didn't bleed through, I think, like at all. I don't know though. I don't know. But it looks really good. Unfortunately, I think my Sailor, I don't even know if it's gonna dry. I'm trying to I want to see if it'll dry. Or I mean, to at least blot some of the ink off. Ugh, it's still stuck on here. Wow. Yeah, it's stuck on here pretty good. I guess I put down too much. I might have to put like a piece of paper in between, because I don't know if it'll bleed through these other pages. But I guess it's a good way to test it out too. I'd never use a timetable. Don't even know what to use it for. So maybe I could. I'll try the other side as well. Yeah. It's still like coming off of there. Okay, well, I'll just put like a piece of paper in between or something. But anyway, these are my swatches. Really happy with the paper. Really excited for next year to see how this goes. So far, all my choices are great. I don't have that much variety when it comes to like inks, I guess, because I usually try to stay, well, I don't try to stay away from pigment inks, but I do try to get dye-based inks because I do always write with like a fine or an extra fine size nib. I don't really write with things that are broader unless it's like I have a stub nib for my Coeco Sport that I really like. But even then I'd be kind of cautious about putting like a more pigment based ink than a dye based ink in it, or I would have to clean it out more often, because you can do that technically if they're all fountain pen safe. You can use a pigment ink, but I'd still be nervous about it, especially if I forget to clean it, which I have. I haven't cleaned a lot of my pens sometimes for like a good few, like a month or two. But yeah, I am really happy with this paper for this year. I think it's great. I think they really fixed a lot of problems, or at least so far. We'll have to see later on in the rest of these pages to see how they hold up, because I have seen also that people have said that on certain pages everything was fine and it worked great, but then on different pages it would blow out, and that's when they would have the problem. So there was inconsistency within the book, unfortunately, for 2025. So I don't know yet. I won't know until next year. Either way, I'm happy. I still like using Hobonichi. It's fun. I really like the daily pages and stuff, so it's not too much of like a turn off for me when it comes to the books. But yeah, thank you for watching, I guess. Let me know if there's anything else you want me to try. I do have like a few inks that I could try more, or maybe like a broader nib or something. Yeah, but that's what I got so far. So bye.